This is your wake-up call.
Not only do you have to know the Bible and the dark sayings of the Bible, you have to know languages outside of the English language. You know, you have certain knuckleheads out there, Israelites, they don't have to look up words in the Greek or look up words in the Hebrew, or go into outside sources. The scriptures say watch as well as pray. But these are lazy Israelites. You know, guys like Nate and Johanna and the rest of those clowns out there.
You go to the Greek. If you notice, every doctrine has to go to the language.
Exactly.
They cannot ever explain their doctrine in English. Now they're going to the Paleo Hebrew, brother. Paleo.
Exactly.
Have you ever heard of something called the RFID microchip, and what you think of that?
That's that thing that the government's trying to do. They're trying to place it into people like Social Securities or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm completely against that.
All that Esau does is all about deception. He's not going to come out and say that he's the wicked and that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians are the Israelites. They're trying to hide from that history. Their line in their ancestry goes back to Esau, Edom, but they've erased certain history so that you can't trace it back. This is the reason why Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem Rakah Kodash stepped in to give us the missing pieces so that we can go out and expose these devils. If this gospel that we're teaching is hid to them that are lost, and whom the God of this world, which is who? Esau, the international bankers, have blinded the mind of them which believe not. You know, so this is prophecy being fulfilled. So we're supposed to speak about things like this. There's so much information out there on the mark of the beast, being the microchip and the technology and the things that they plan on doing, that we have to speak about those things.
And Homo sapien 2.0, according to a researcher at the Global Brain Institute, a completely new human species will inhabit the Earth in just over 30 years.
In a closed-door meeting at Harvard University on Tuesday, nearly 150 scientists got together to organize the Human Synthetic Genome Project. These days, when Harvard isn't organizing black masses for its students, it's holding Bilderberg-like meetings to create a totally synthetic human genome. Unlike the original Human Genome Project, whose purpose was to read the entire genome, this project, the Synthetic Human Genome Project, will Frankenstein into reality a transgenic human. This process, of course, will require gutting out a human embryo and replacing it with synthetic DNA. Not only will this pave the way for rolling out synthetic humans off the assembly line, it will pave the way for human cloning as well as chimera hybrids of all shapes and sizes. Flying pigs may soon become a reality, ladies and gentlemen, and with gene drive technology, they could have the code built in to force their synthetic genome onto subsequent generations. Clones breeding clones to naturally weed out the population. This will be a pivotal component to the post-human agenda.
So what kind of people will we become? Well, they say our biological clocks will undergo dramatic changes, which will allow us to live longer and give birth at an older age. And of course, technology will continue to make our lives easier. All kinds of microchip implants will be placed in our ears and our fingers, and
microchip implants will be placed in our ears and our fingers and
make many devices completely obsolete.
Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? There's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words, before your tenure is over. Can brain scans be used to determine whether a person is inclined toward criminality or violent behavior? You will rule on that.
That will be implanted, that people will stand in line and in queues for it to have, so that ultimately we will have in our body. Now we're having little tats, tattoos, little biometrics, all of them leading to the ultimate goal, and that is an RFID, a radio frequency identification or similar chip, to be placed subcutaneously. And that chip, Lindsay, will have everything.
But now let's take a look at this mark that this beast is coming with.
Using public transport, getting access to buildings and paying for coffee is now as simple as a touch of your hand. A microchip implanted beneath the skin gives people the same capabilities as dozens of cards and devices. And it's not as painful as you might think.
What was once confined to science fiction movies...
This may be a little uncomfortable. Just implanted a radium diode. They're the access codes to your drop spot.
...is now reality for some.
I can pay, open doors and have my business card in there as well.
These Aussies say they're being microchipped to simplify their lives.
Which will connect to my work pass, which will allow me access to my office, to use the printer, to use the scanner.
We won't need any ID cards, we won't need any PIN codes, access cards or anything, so we can live a much sort of freer life.
The microchip is the size of a grain of rice and the procedure takes just 15 minutes. First, the area is sterilised, then the location marked. The chip is then placed inside a hollow needle and inserted underneath the skin. Data from your bank card, payment method, building swipe, LinkedIn profile or medical history is cloned onto the chip which is implanted in the hand. Using the same technology as tap and pay cards, the chip can then be used to open security doors, pay for a coffee, use public transport and access information you've programmed onto the chip. This Perth body modification artists already embrace the trend.
I have a business card on one I have just for funny images to load up on people's phones randomly, and one of them I use for being able to operate and open a door lock. We'll turn off the immobiliser.
32-year-old Joltron has even built a motorbike which can be immobilised just by the touch of his hand.
Easy as that.
The microchip also has the potential to save lives. Personal medical data can be loaded onto the device like blood type and allergies and accessed in emergencies.
For those concerned about privacy, the user can control what data is made available. Visa says it's possible for any device to become enabled for payments, but the chip would need to meet Visa's security standards and be issued by a bank. But our laws haven't kept up with the new technology. A man in Sydney recently copped a fine after implanting his transport chip in his hand. While microchipping may be a step too far for some big businesses are already trialling wearable payment technology. Bankwest among those putting the information in wristbands, watches and key rings, with 400 volunteers testing the gadgets right now.
So it has a chip in it, just like your bank card does, and you can go to a merchant terminal, buy your coffee, buy your drink and swipe the device.
Microchipping costs around $300. Rebecca Johns, 9 News.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
When the Jews return to Zion, and a comet rips the sky, and the Holy Roman Empire rises, then you and I must die. From the eternal sea he rises, creating armies on either shore, turning man against his brother, till man exists no more. And like that, he's gone.